So, hello and welcome. Well, this is basically to try and show how to put the Hs2 systems together once you get them out of the box. I basically designed them so that they're real easy. You know, a kid of 3 could do it. It's one tool. I took my first tricycle apart when I was 3. Kind of pissed my mum off, but hey. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is we're going to wander off over there where I've actually got radical system sitting, as it would basically if it's been unpacked, comes out of the box exactly in the component way it is. So I'll then show you how to simply put it together, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so let's wander on over and have a look-see. Alright, so as you can see, we've got a bit going on. We've got this one here, which is an old Hs2 that was an HS1, got converted, and that's going off to Mike at UK. Then I'm actually building my own system. So I'm actually going to have an Hs2 PRO, built them for everyone else, and I'm going to get one myself. So that's being done. And then we have this unit for radical. And I shall pick the cam up, excuse the sliding sound, and make the camera adjustments. It's rather hard when you're trying to do things, but basically there's the system there and all the components as they come out of the box. So basically we'll go through the handlebars first. And if you buy the system and you don't buy the foot controls, when it comes out the box, it's not much to do. Basically, you get the whole system in one complete unit, so the steering head and the handlebars are all in one. And then you will have the mounting frame, and that's it. That's as simple as the Hs2 is. 2 pieces, boom, done deal. So, first off, let me just show you. Take a stand, and I'm having to work back the front, so it's going to be a bit funny to start with. Haven't practiced this, but here we go. Just release it, and you've got what I call the little top hats, and so you've got your inner and your outer, which allows it then to turn on the table. This will just then slide onto the table, onto the tabletop, and then just simply tighten it up by hand, making sure you've got the 2 bits up against the flat, and screw it down pretty firm until basically you've got no movement whatsoever. So I'm going to pick the table up with it right now. Then there's only one screw, or grub screw, that you need to actually tighten. And if I get it right, that's, where are we? This little guy here. Okay, this is an 8mm grub screw. Just need a 4mm Allen to put inside there. That will be in a bag, and you simply put that in there, and you simply make sure it's loose, so it's just showing, and then you simply slide that onto the shaft, and you're done. Your system is mounted, and it's basically ready to then go. Well, obviously this is not what you do here. This you'll do wherever you're going to be riding. So I'm going to do that in a bit. I'm just going to go through the foot controls, how to assemble those. As you can see, it's not hard to assemble the Hs2 handlebar system. 1 grub screw, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to take these and I'm going to place them just over here so they're out of the way. Then take this off so we don't scratch it too much. Fortunately, it's going to get nicks. It does cost £60 to actually do powder coating, so unfortunately when in testing it does get a few scratches, and that I cannot help. But anyhow, that we will get round to eventually. It's just very expensive to do one off. 60 quid's a lot of money. My systems aren't cheap as it is, so if I could do them cheaper I would, but unfortunately that's how it is in life. Right, so foot controls. Basically you have, and this is not yours, Radical, this is my test one. So you've got your main frame, you've then got the crossbar. This has grub screw here, and another grub screw there. This planer simply slides on here to the lower position. Tighten up your grub screw. I will move the camera in, but I think you get the idea. So, sorry about the camera work, it's not the best, but that's how it's going to be. It's better than me having to try and fight with a phone in the hand. Right, so we have to have, yes, the most important thing, like the cigarette break. So, now we have the foot controls. They come linked together by one cable. So, both are on one cable, as you can see it's linked. You put your, see, working so that I'm in front of the camera. So this is the rear brake unit. Obviously slides onto the right hand side. Now I've got to see how I've got my screen. And depending on what seating position this is going to be set up for on the couch, so I'm going to have it swiveled like this, and then just simply tighten the grub screw once you've got it in position. Your fingers aren't working. Tighten that down nice and tight. Make sure your cables are actually going underneath. You want the cables to come out through the front. This is the front. And then you put the shift unit on the left hand side. And once again, set at an angle. Obviously it depends how you're sitting. If you've got a stool or something else, you'll need to experiment. But basically you want your feet to be totally natural. You don't want them to be sitting so that you're putting pressure on a lever at any point until you want to. So, and then basically I have cable ties. Well, at the moment I've just got reusable ones that I'm going to put on for now, so that in fact you'll be supplied with cable ties, but this is just for the demonstration point. You want to put one about, I'll move it over about 1.5 inches from the end of the bar. Put the first one. Second one you'll have near the center. Helps if I put it the right way around. I've got these really short so they just work so that if I film they don't look horrible. Okay. And in fact we caught our cable wrongly. Snagged it. Gotta pull that through. I'll show you in a second so you know exactly how to have the cables. Want them so they work out at equal lengths. Right, so Then the same on this end, about 1.5 inches from the end. They come with little cables that are already on there that you're not to remove, there for making sure that everything doesn't get damaged. So once those are on, you'll see you've got nice clean cable management. Now all the cables all the way along, and then basically what I do is I put one just at the front here, keeps it nice and tidy, and that's your foot controls all together. So it comes with the cable that connects into the handlebars, and that is it. So I'll stop this part here. We'll have a short interlude, and then we'll go on to how you set the controller up in Windows.
So hello and welcome back. So now, as you can see, we're over where I do all my testing and riding, and I've mounted the system. I've actually got it going in between two surfaces. It's on a tabletop, but then I've got this false top here that I use because it just looks nicer, and it also balances some other parts that I've got up on the top of my system. So that's just my unit there as the test rig. So our Hs2 is now connected, and basically all you have to do is, I'll unplug this now and show you. So you've got your USB and your foot controls. So the foot controls are on this part. It's the only round connector, you can't go wrong. And then you got your USB. So that USB is plugged in. You get, in fact, one of these 5-meter cables is what comes with the system. Yeah, not like one of these little 1-meter things that never reaches your computer. So you plug those in, and it's that simple. So now your foot controls are hooked up, and as you can see down here are the foot controls centered in front of the handlebars. Now basically what you need to do is, we're going to, and I will show you. So camera at the right angle, so you can see as I set up, and you'll then, now it's plugged in via USB, you go to device and printers, and you'll see the Hs2 PRO in there. And basically I've already got a shortcut, so you'll go to device and printers, then right click on the properties for Hs2, just click properties, and you will then get this window come up. They got this window here. Okay, so now you click on Hs2 PRO, then click on properties, and unfortunately it doesn't show in OBS. I have to actually now specially select that particular window in order to get it to come up. So this is the window you'll want to see. So here we've got our Hs2. You can see as I move the handlebars, you can see the little guy swinging about, move my levers, everything, and everything's working. So now what we want to really do is, you'll go up to here where it says settings, click on settings and calibrate. Now I've got to try and bring up the calibration window, which is rather difficult because I've got my cam up in front. So bear with me while I go through this. So now we've got our calibration window. Click next. Click next. And then you'll want to press a button on the controller, doesn't matter what one, press a button, and then First axis is going to be your handlebars, and you can see the little cross moving from left to right. And once you've got that done, then press another button. Now you're going to want to do your throttle. Do your throttle, and don't worry about how much the bars move there, it's all while it's being calibrated. Once you've moved it a couple of times, once again hit the button. Your x-axis is your front brake, so I'm using the front brake lever. Press again. Now you're doing your Y rotation. This is for the clutch, so I'm using my clutch over here. Then press again, and we're going to do for the rear brake. Didn't press it. Obviously I missed it. Not to worry, I missed the actual calibration part of it. So we go back in, settings, calibration, next. This is rather awkward to do with OBS. You've got to get the right window to come up. Then go to another screen, get it up. So we've now got our X moving, and yeah, just looked really odd in the replay. So we've got our throttle with the Z axis, then our X rotation is the front brake, Y rotation is the clutch, and Z rotation is the rear brake, which is not showing. It's because it's not been calibrated before. But if we go in, we can now see that the rear brake is working. It's just when it's first doing it. Hit apply. So now all the axes are all there. Clutch and rear brake down on the floor. Then we go through our buttons, making sure that all our buttons work. There's 24 buttons to press, so they're all up and running, and then simply press OK, and then you're ready to go. So in the next step, I'll show you how to actually set up for doing basically milestone games. It's got its own little trick. I'll be back shortly. So, hello and welcome back. Right, now we are going to try and show you how I'm terrible at this kind of thing. Basically, I did do a video on how to set up Hs2 CE for any milestone game, but I'll go through this again just using this particular controller and try and make it a bit clearer. First of all, basically, anyone that gets a system, I send you an email with some files in it, 32 or 64-bit, depending on what game you're playing and you know what your computer's running. Basically, I recommend using 64-bit always. Anyhow, basically here we've got the window open. Files you're going to get is 360 CE, an INI file, and then the DLL for that particular game. Now, this is the folder for Ride 2 PC, obviously, and basically it uses the X input 1-4 DLL as opposed to 1-3, which most do. So that's included, but I send all the things so that you can actually do it pretty easy. And if you can't figure it out, then I'll do it for you if you contact me. But basically, so I'll send you the email, you've got your files, so you've got these three files here: X360 CE, X360 INI and the input 1.4. Well, this INI is in fact for a different one. It's for an NC. If you look here, it says BU0836A interface. Well, this is an X and that. And basically what you need to do is you now need to click on X360CE, the EXE file. This little guy shows up. I'll give you a window, just simply say cancel, and then on the next window click OK. So now that we can get started, close this one out so it's not in our way. So first of all, this is the main window. General controller 1, which is our Hs2 Streetfighter Pro, staying here. So first off, basically what I do is I tend to make it that you can really just, I'm going to open another window in a second, and it'll basically make it so that you want to make it believe this is an X360 controller, and it's in fact not. But to get the ball rolling, you cancelled everything, you got to this and it's not recognising the thing, and you've got a red square here and it's like, oh damn it, I don't want a red square, I want a green one. So what I generally do is set up my A and B button first. So you go to the little arrow, click on it, and then you say record. Now then you're going to want to press a button to record that. I'll go through this in a minute when I pull up the other mirror. And you get this and you click OK. But that button is set. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my cam. So you can see. And we're going to try and bring this in so you can see how everything's working at the same time. So basically, make sure I've got the right window so you can see all the buttons. Right, so where I clicked on 4, we can do this again. Come over to our A button, click record, and then I'm going to press this lower left, and that is button 4. That's already done, so it didn't do it. So we go to button B, record, next button up, click OK. Then for the X button, do the same, record, go up to the top button here, the lower of them, so the red button, click OK. Then the Y, record, and the green, very top left, and OK. And now click save. And now close this. Now you're going to want to reopen it again. But this time you hear that dring. So you know it's now working, and here is a green light as opposed to a red one. That's what we want. So now basically what you need to do is you want to go through all your buttons, all your levers, and set them up as you want. And you can set them up exactly as you want. I set them up so they kind of feel right for an Xbox controller, and they're easy to remember. So first off, go through all our buttons. So we've got our A, B, our X and our Y. Now I want to get our POV hat out of the way, and I tend to do that on this cluster here. So I'm going to say, first of all, D-pad up, record. Now press the green, very top button. You see now no other window comes up, it just accepts it. You don't have to press OK now, because now it's recognizing it a lot better. But if you set up the A, B, X and Y, you only really need to do A and B first. But if you set those up and then save, it lets you get into this stage. So now we want our D-pad left, record, and that's on the slide button at the top right. So push it left, and D-pad right, D-pad down, which is the red one. That's our D-pad. Now, for the bumpers, you've got to remember, if you've got the foot controls, you want for your shift. So I tend to have it that I use on the foot control, which is down here, down there. So as I set up for the left bumper, record, I'll then press down, and then I'll go to the right bumper, record, and I'll shift up. So that's that done. Now, we've still got some more buttons to go, but first of all we get the triggers out of the way. So on the Xbox controller, basically right trigger is for your throttle. So go to record and then turn the throttle. Left trigger, record. You're going to go brake lever. That's your front brake lever. Now, for steering, it's on the X-axis. Click record and you'll see it's flashing red to the right. So you want to push it to the right first. And then it's automatically set up for your left and right. So that's those. Now we go for the back and start. So record. I use the top left slider. So back, I push to the left, start, record to the right, and that's them set up. And then we've got stick up, and so stick button for the left, press on the right, left button, stick button, record, the red button, and then we've got all our axes, except for we're not using the clutch or the rear brake yet, because with the rear brake you have to do a setup. So we've got everything else set up from what I can see. Just save that, make sure it's saved. Now the one thing is, you're going to want to go to left thumb, and this is very important. You're going to want to set an anti-dead zone, okay, and you're going to want to try around 9, and then your sensitivity, okay, it's to the left thumb X. You're going to want to invert it, and then you're going to want to move it to about 10. Okay, use those as your general settings. You don't need a dead zone, you've already got one. You don't want it, you want to get rid of it, so use an anti-dead zone. And these are the two that you need to play around with to make your game work. You have to do it outside of the game, then start your game, try, see how it is, come back out, adjust it, and do it until you get it right. So that's that, so I'll save that. That's now saved, go back to general. Okay. So I've got to reset the camera in order to show you how to do the rear brake so that it works. And so I'll be back with you in a bit. Bye bye for now. So, hello and welcome back to another Hs2 setup video. This time I'm going to show you how to add the rear brake, also adjust the throw for the shift just while we're on the foot controls, and then get onto the clutch lever. So first of all, the reason why you need to do this is that basically the potentiometers are set at the end of their throw for the Hs2, whereas the thumb sticks on a gamepad are set in the center. So what happens is, when you try and use it in a milestone game, it's reading that axis is actually on. the whole time, and it causes a problem. So you want to now center it once you've actually fully configured the controller in Windows. So you've calibrated it in Windows and you set up your basic control for X360 CE. Now you want to add your brake. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is, and you're going to want to do this on the stick X axis. So in our X360 CE over here, we go to our stick X axis, click on it and click record, and then we press down on the rear brake. So that is fine. That's our I-axis 6 is what it's saying, but the big problem is it's red, which means that it's showing that it's already like held over to the left. We don't want that. We want it to be centered. In order to do that, we have to adjust our potentiometer, which is this little guy just inside here. So you can see if I push the lever, see a little gear turning, well, you can see the slot on the shaft shining. Okay, that has to be turned so it centers. The way to do that is with a flat head screwdriver. You're going to hold your fingers so that they're basically apart, so they're like this. I'll try and get it in the right way. Hold your fingers like this. They go over the bar, so you've got either side of the gear. You can see I'm wiggling the gear there. So then, what you're going to want to do is come in with your screwdriver, and what you need to do is, if you look where you've got the X axis over here in the setup window, where it says stick axis X and it's in red, you want to make that become black. So you're going to turn the screwdriver on the little slot. You're going to hold it quite tight. You want to turn it anti-clockwise until it goes green. Turn it back till it goes red again, and then your pedal press, watch it go green, and then when it comes back up you want to see it black. So you can now see over here it's stick axis X is black. When I press down it goes green. Let go. Now we've got the brake set up and we can save now. So that's set. That's all you have to do. And if you ever find you're in a game and it has a problem with the controls, always check X360 CE to make sure that's like that. While we've got the foot controls, we're going to quickly spin them around. Hope I can get the shift bolt so you can see. Right, you can just about see here. So this is our shift shaft. Bolt here, and you take a 6mm Allen, put it in there at the end, turn it either way, and you only need to turn it a bit. That will adjust the throw and the stiffness of the springs for the shift. So it's just a 6mm in that, and that's all you have to do to adjust the throw of the shift. Do it in little increments, don't do big ones. Very little increments, you'll be surprised how much you get from it. So now we've got the hard part of trying to show you the clutch, and I hope I can. It's a bit tight, and for that I actually have to get the camera adjusted differently. So I will actually do the clutch in another video, but it's exactly the same principle. You turn your clutch on and just make sure that it actually registers, then you center it. But I'll make that in another video. Anyhow, that should set you up for the rear brake. So now you're ready to go and play Ride or MotoGP or whatever you want in Milestone. Just remember to make sure you've put the right files in there and you're good to go. Okay, well, I hope that helps, and I'll see you some other time. Bye bye.